So into the charts we go, and we are seeing that bounce in Bitcoin. I talked about the possibility of this in yesterday's video. The main reasoning was that the dollar was coming into resistance. So let's flip over to the DXY. And this is why, again, a lot of investors and traders are kind of hesitant to look at other things. Maybe they don't have the confidence, I'm not really sure. But ultimately, when you look at other things, you get a better view of an asset. Right? So in this case, looking at the dollar chart gave us insight. We knew we had the topping tail a few days ago on the Bitcoin chart. Then we saw Bitcoin pulling back beautifully 4 days in a row, which told us it was short-term oversold. So it told us maybe you're due for a bounce. Then we looked at the dollar chart, which is right here, and we saw the dollar was getting close to this yellow trend line. And look at what has happened. And I want to show the intraday here. This has been one of the wildest moves in the dollar, in the markets in general, that I have seen in a very, very long time. Now, really the culprit here is that not press conference, but basically speech that Jerome Powell gave. And again, there were so many cross currents of signals in this meeting. It was wild. Look at the S&P 500 here, guys. And again, there's an old trend line there, but we can remove that. But initially, the market soared on his comments, then collapsed on his comments. We actually made new lows here, then rebounded right back up. I mean, again, I have not seen this type of volatility in a long, long time when it comes to intraday price action. And same thing, by the way, with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, almost the same exact thing. Big pop, big drop, and then a rebound here. And it's actually making a bullish consolidation pattern, so you could go up and retest these highs up here. Now, if we go to the daily chart, right, so we knew that there was a chance that we would get a bounce in Bitcoin. Now, the more important thing to analyze here is this. The question is this now a resumption of bullish momentum in Bitcoin? And the answer is, as of now, it's not. And you might say, well, why not? Well, mainly because you still have a topping tail that's intact. So unless you go up and take out this high pivot, which is the topping tail high at 24,250, 300, right around there, then again, any sort of bounce here is just a bounce inside of that bearish reversal candle. All right, so again, you know, it's one of those things where, like we've talked about, we're not fully out bearish yet on Bitcoin because you haven't taken out this low here around 22,300. But at the same time, you can't be bullish either when you have a topping tail glaring you in the face, essentially. And even with a little bounce here, that doesn't change much, especially after so many down candles in a row. We knew the dollar was due for that bounce, that pullback, excuse me. So the bottom line is, to summarize, bias remains slightly negative, slightly negative. All right, now why slightly negative? Well, because again, topping tail rules all here. Yes, it's still sideways consolidation, but with the topping tail, you have to give that some credence. And again, that is a slight negative bias. Why isn't it more negative? Because you haven't taken out this down here yet. You're not trading below that consolidation pattern. If you traded below the consolidation pattern, you know what that means? It means that price has now failed the bullish pattern of consolidation. So if you do that, right, if you have a topping tail, which is already a negative, and then the consolidation, which was bullish, then fails, that's two negatives. Not just one, you have two negatives there. And that's where you start to see that drop coming in. So again, very, very interesting price action. Little bit of a bounce. This is all in the back of Jerome Powell. In a weird way, saving the markets again. He did it with the Fed statement last week, and he's doing it again today as the markets are pushing higher. All right, looking at Ethereum getting a nice little bounce. No change in my Ethereum analysis. We're still stuck in this channel that's upsloping. Again, I do think, we could easily go up and test this high end again. There's nothing that says we can't. But eventually, upsloping channels break to the downside. So again, whether it's a day, a week, a month, at some point, you may chop like this, and you may continue to go sideways to higher. But at some point, you break to the downside, and you have a resumption of selling pressure. Okay, so just a little heads up on that. If we go to some of the other ones out there, let's look at Polkadot real quick. Polkadot's getting a decent bounce. Nice move on Polkadot. The level to beat is going to be this high at 712. You don't have a topping tail that's valid on Polkadot. Interestingly enough, you can see this was a topping tail right here, but look, it failed here. There was a close above the high of the topping tail. That caused a failure of the topping tail. So you don't really have the negativity on this chart on Polkadot that you do have, for instance, on Bitcoin. all right, in terms of having that slight negative. This is more of a neutral chart. I still think there's a decent chance maybe we get a pop up here. Granted, it would need Bitcoin to make a pop as well. Okay, going to Solana, which again had been moving lower. Yesterday in the video, we talked about how it hit support here, and there was going to be support. What happened to Solana? It's getting a bounce today. Very, very simple there. I can extend this trend line out. I think that's important to have. We can even extend this one out here, and you can see that you're kind of hovering in that range, but that's not really a useful trend line, actually, the more that I look at it. We will continue. Let me just continue here, folks. I'm going to try to extend these lines out so we have those lines. And basically what you see here is if Solana makes a move up, look at the 3 trend lines right here. So yeah, could it go back to 26, 27? It could. But at the same time, just be aware that's epically big resistance right there. Epically big resistance. 3 lines converging is a lot of resistance for that chart. So again, even if it makes a move up, it's a short at this point. Again, to me, if it breaks this trend line around 22.50, next stop is going to be just above 20 bucks, and then eventually 17.65 or so. Taking a look at Avalanche, beautiful sell-off. Topping tail is absolutely valid. Still, there was your topping tail. There was your sell-off that comes with a topping tail. Now you're getting a little technical bounce. Notice how it's coming right off of this area right here, and that's technical support there. If we roll over again, support is here, and then right down here. Those would be your key levels to watch. All right, so again, just kind of taking it one step at a time as we go through here, and we'll continue to keep you guys, or I'll keep you guys fully posted. Looking at BNB real quick, we'll just go through a few of these others. You are holding above this area, granted unconfirmed. If you get one more move, I'm still interested in shorting at 372. Let's take a look at Matic. Matic getting a nice pop here. Matic would still be a potential short, but my level is now higher than it was. Originally, I was willing to do it at a pierce of 130. We never actually pierced that level. Anytime we kiss a level that I like and doesn't fill me, what I do is I raise my order. In this case, raise it higher, right? If I'm buying, I bring it down lower. The idea here is that at this point, it gathers some more momentum by consolidating. You probably have a little bit of additional momentum to the upside. My new level would be around 134 to 135. Okay, so that would be my next level on this. Next up, let's take a look at, let's see here, Chainlink. Haven't looked at that in a little while. Yeah, same chart as pretty much all these cryptos. You have a little bit of a bounce today. Uniswap, see what we got on that one. Yeah, Uniswap, same thing, same bounce kind of in the crypto market. So again, Bitcoin's bouncing, Ether's bouncing. You're getting a little bit of a bounce across the board. Again, I would just say that that's to be expected in many ways because Bitcoin is bouncing and it's going to lead the whole entire sector higher. Plus, we knew that the dollar was into resistance. So again, I hope you guys are learning from this too. It's important for me to go over this, not only to give you guys my kind of guidance, but I hope that you're seeing it enough and kind of saying, oh yeah, maybe I should look at the dollar. Maybe the dollar can kind of let me in on some of these different things. And that's my hope, is that you do put 2 and 2 together and start learning a little bit more about investing and trading this way. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. Thanks as always for coming out and watching the video. I will keep you posted. Take care.